Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pot Smoker's Bible. My name is Zion. I'm the author of the Pot Smoker's Bible, and it contains the prophetic book of Zion, where I get my name and authority. It comes from the Ketuvim, or Old Testament of the Christian Bible. I use the King James Version of the Bible to write the book of Zion, and everything I've done since then is been in order to fulfill the actual prophecy contained in the book. That's why I call myself Zion, because Zion is the prophetic figure from the prophecy, and she is the author of the book of Zion. That's how I became Zion. I wrote the book. But in order to write the book properly, I had to fulfill it first, which I have already done. These videos are the proof of it, because I've already published the book of Zion and its commentary, the Pot Smoker's Bible. And that was the last thing that I had to do on my to-do list in order to become Zion. Now, in on May 25th of 2015, I stood up in a court of law and read a 16-page dissertation from the prophet Isaiah to establish myself as Zion legally, according to the prophecy. You see, the prophecy said that Zion would establish herself in judgment and her converts with righteousness, and all the transgressors would be destroyed. And the reason that she is established in a court of law, in judgment, is for the use of a plant of renown, according to Daniel. And that plant of renown, there's only one plant on this planet that has a reputation for anything, and that's marijuana, what we call pot. And that is the name of my book, Pot Smoker's Bible. And it is literally what the Bible, the actual Bible, says about people who use marijuana, why they use marijuana, how they came to use marijuana, and what they're going to do with it. And I get to be the lead figure in this whole enterprise. And that's what I'm doing. I am informing the world that too late, judgment's already happened. And if you want to know what God's judgment is for mankind, then I suggest you read the Bible again, or for the first time. But don't read it as a Christian, because it's not a Christian document. It's a Jewish document. So you need to read it from the perspective of the Jew. But it's not even a Jewish document. It's its very own thing called Zion. It's a Zionite document. It establishes the Zionite people and the Zionite priesthood. And that priesthood is actually the center of today's episode. This is the temple complex, not according to the political end of it, which I discussed in my last episode, how to do away with money. This episode is about the ancient priesthood, the pre-flood priesthood. You see, I represent God on earth. I have been trained by God to speak on his behalf for them, to us here on earth. That's who I am. I'm Zion, the foretold prophet of God, the prophet of Israel. I redeem Israel, as a matter of fact. I reunite the family of Abraham, the entire family. But if you want to get into that, I suggest you read my book, The Pot Smoker's Bible, because it's all there for you to find. And it's all documented. Everything that I say comes straight from the Bible. You want to start at Psalms and end at Malachi. Don't go to the New Testament, because that's a whole different story. It's a different testament. It's not authorized, but it's different. And it's actually explained in the Pot Smoker's Bible. But I digress. before the flood, we had one world organization, one government. There was no such thing really as religion as we know it. Because the temples that we find the remnants of, say like the Greek temples, is a good example. They carried over from the pre-flood age as the example for how to reestablish the ancient way. And the ancient way is what I call the temple complex. Now, before the flood, there was no gods, not the way we know gods. God originally meant those who from the heavens came. It meant aliens. Aliens came to Earth and they created the human race using their own genetic code. And they brought with them their own society, their social order, their political system of government. And that government is what I call the temple complex. See, the gods were officials. So they were the heads of different departments. And those departments covered every aspect of human life. You went to a temple based on your need. If you needed medical help, you went to the medical temple. If you needed inspiration for a new play, you went to the uh, Muses temple. Okay, so each facet of society had a government official attached to it, and those government officials were aliens. They ran the country, the world, but they were not able to live on the planet because they breathe nitrogen and we breathe oxygen. So they had to stay in their spaceships. But they were trying to integrate themselves into our planet. We are the first stage, well, probably the third stage of their evolution into the earthly matrix. But that was interrupted by the plague. So we became our own species. But before then, we had a system of government that was run through the temples. They weren't gods. They weren't all-powerful beings that you could petition that could kick your ass if you didn't. I mean, yeah, it's like if you fucked up, they fixed it. So if you pissed them off, if you broke one of the rules, you paid the consequence. It was a political system, not a religious system. The priests were literally telepathically enhanced humans capable of communicating on the same telepathic level as the aliens that they worked for. They didn't worship the gods. They didn't serve the gods. They ran the country according to the higher government of the gods. So they were God's representatives on earth. They were the political power on earth. God ran earth through the priests, through the temples. Each center of civilization around the world had its own temple system. You look, they're very similar. There is the agricultural department. There is the health department. Okay, there is the weather department. There is, climate. There's science. There's knowledge. All of these things were contained in the different temples. And they were operated through the priests. But they didn't worship anybody. They ran the government according to the mandate of the higher authority off-world. And that is what we're going to reintroduce into society in the temple complex. Now, the temple complex to end poverty, does not necessarily have to be the temple complex that runs Zion. Because I'm not talking about taking over the governments of the world. Now, the prophecy foretells the destruction of America. That is a given. And Trump has destroyed America. It just has not played out yet. Now, the prophecy tells you exactly what Trump's 4 years in office did to America, how it was destroyed. And the projection of the prophecy is that I will be the one to step up and take charge of the mess that he has created. That's my job. I was given that job from God, those who from the heavens came. That is my God. But they aren't gods, as opposed to as we know them in a religious sense. I am a political figure far more than I am a religious figure. And the example that I follow is the example of Moses. So I'm going to reestablish the temple priesthood. Human telepaths capable of communicating with alien telepaths. And we are going to institute the priesthood as it was prior to the flood. No religious connotation. We are a governing body representing the guilds that serve society. And each guild has a headquarters, which we call a temple. So, I'm not an atheist. Read my book. I believe in ascension. I believe that every book on this planet that is associated with a higher power, with God, is a true and justifiable document, espousing unique aspects of the ancient way that I am reintroducing, a way that is not physical. There is a higher way. There is a path of ascension, but that's separate from the temple complex. The temple complex is a political organization espousing a higher political organization called the Council of Elders of the Great. I have a seat on that council. This is not something that anybody on this planet can nay or say. I have already won my place on that council. I represent Earth to them. And I represent them to Earth. And I come in the name of Zion, in the name of the prophecy, to establish the priesthood by upholding the rights of the drug users. I am their champion. They are my people. Black Lives Matter? Those are my people. You just wait. They are going to become a beautiful nation. A nation called Zion. That's what the prophecy foretells. That's what the temple is going to create. First, they're going to free themselves from poverty. And then they're going to embrace the true, living alien as God. And then we're going to invite them down and free ourselves of oppression once and for all. It will be the end of the American way of life, for the most part. There will be pockets, there will be states that remain, that become autonomous, or perhaps create their own little unique configurations. Let them do what they want. We're going to be too busy in the mountains saving ourselves with the help of God, the Great. So until next time, may the Great watch over you, guide you, protect you, keep you from all harm, teach you right from wrong, and may you be worthy of them. Let your thoughts, words, and deeds reflect truth, good, and light, the unicorn way. Be the joy, people. Spread the joy. Stay happy and high. You know I love you. I'll see you later, because I'll never say goodbye.